Hey, it's Samantha Hartley of the Profitable Joyful Consulting Podcast. This is season 7, and we're going to be talking about consulting insights. I hope you get many of them as you listen to these 12 episodes. Today, I wanted to talk about rejection. It is something that we face all the time in our businesses, and it's the kind of thing that you can either control or be controlled by. And I know a lot of people are dealing with it right now, as they are with a lot of negative and difficult emotions. And I don't know whether that's the pandemic or just the way things are going right now, but I feel a lot of that is up. And so I'm going to be addressing it as we go through this season. Difficult emotions that come up in our businesses, and hopefully in an insightful way. So today's rejection topic, well, in my second all-time consulting engagement, I had a great little gig going. I'd gotten it through a colleague at my former employers, as many of our early consulting gigs will come. It was going great. They would give me a little assignment. I would go away and do it and bring it back. And they would say, super, here's another assignment. I'd go away and do that and bring that back. They'd say, super, here's a new assignment. And I just kept working like that for several months with this client, and everybody was happy. Everything was hunky-dory. Until one day, my primary contact changed, and I came in to present the work that I'd done, and he said, okay, thank you. That's it. And I was like, that's it, or that's it. And in short, that was the last work I did for them. He let me go for a reason that was, for no reason. I was completely shocked. And I was really confused. Nobody had ever said that this was a limited time duration. I thought things were going great and all the blah, blah, blah. But sometimes when your contexts change, then they don't continue the work, as he didn't. So worse than being confused and kind of disappointed, which was hard enough, I was also unemployed at that point because, like a lot of new consultants, I was just working with one client at a time. It never occurred to me that I should go and find new clients or to build a pipeline so that there would be others around. And that's one of the few reasons, the many reasons, that rejection came especially hard. So it was made a really big impact on me, and it might not have even been a blip on my radar screen had I had other clients to be working with at the time, because I didn't necessarily take this rejection personally. I didn't really think anything of it. I was like, new guy comes in, doesn't want the work. Okay, fine. But that's not the case with a lot of rejection. A lot of rejection feels personal. It feels upsetting. It feels like a loss. It's a loss of the work I thought I was going to do, this engagement that I thought I was going to have. It's a loss of this whole thing that I'd begun to invest in intellectually and emotionally. And that loss, as you can hear, is very much aligned with like real loss. And what happens, I think, is that we grieve it. We have grief around rejection because there is loss associated with it. It's why I consider rejection and grief cousin emotions. And the way to work with grief, I think, is to process it, to really dig in and acknowledge it and be with it and sit with it and look at what comes up. Look at why it's come up. One of the things that I say about grief when I'm dealing with my friends and myself is that you can see that when you pull the string of grief, of any single incident, it's attached to the big grief, all of the grief that's within you, and it comes all out together. It's why you can have a disproportionately large response to something that doesn't seem that sad or like that big a loss, but for you, it's really big. To me, that's because it's connected to a lot of other grief. And I think that's the way with rejection. Even a small rejection, like, I don't want the thing, from someone who's important to you can feel devastating because it's connected to all of our feelings of like worth, unworthiness, self-esteem, grief, and loss. So that may seem a grandiose way to begin this. And I want to disclaim I'm not a psychologist or a therapist or anything like that. I'm a student of personal development. And I have seen this in my work and in my work with clients. So everything I'm going to be sharing with you today is going to be my personal experience of dealing with rejection. And my first piece of advice is to grieve it. If you feel hurt by any kind of rejection, then love that part of yourself. Really go in and grieve the thing that you wanted, the thing that you had your heart set on. The grief is a heart emotion. It's hurting your heart. So be with yourself. If in grief you tend to call on friends or family or someone to be with you, then reach out to other people. It doesn't matter what the cause of this was, but what does matter is the way you work with it and you treat it and process it, because that's the difference to me between being trapped in grief and afraid of rejection and beginning to build resilience. The more you experience rejection and are okay with it and are able to move through it in a healthy way, the more resilient you will be. And I think among the most important qualities of an entrepreneur, I might put resilience at number one. You have to stick with it, blow after blow. Every time you get knocked down, you have to get back up and go on. And if you do, you're going to see you'll have a very successful business, and you won't be afraid of rejection. You won't be controlled by that fear. So speaking of resilience, my husband tells the story of when he was 6 years old. He was learning to play catch with his mom, and they used a wiffle ball because he was little, and it was a big plastic ball that wasn't dangerous if it hit him, right? It's a very light ball. But he remembers as a 6-year-old that when he would catch it, it would hurt his hands. That's how little he was, and that's how big an impact it made on him. But of course, nowadays, if he's catching a ball, you can hear it go that and that thud sound into the mitt. And even if he catches it with his bare hands, you can hear that pop sound, but it doesn't really hurt him anymore. Why? Well, what's happened? Well, over the years, he's developed a thicker skin, which is what all of us have to do. We have to have a thick skin to be able to function in business. Again, the rejection isn't even the only part of it. Like, there's so many things that we need to experience on an ongoing basis, getting feedback, writing new stuff, testing things out when things don't work. When things don't work is just like one of the many ways that rejection can show up in your business. And I say that as someone who hates when things don't work. We're trying things out constantly in the business. Here's an organic post that didn't get any, it got like 2 likes only, and we expected 50. Or here's an ad that we ran that nobody clicked on. Here's a this, here's a that. So when you're testing things out, most of them are not going to work. And if you get upset about everything that doesn't work, then life is going to be long and unenjoyable. So developing that thicker skin around rejection, everything from someone who unsubscribes from your newsletter, which, believe me, in the beginning used to upset me, and now don't even notice. Of course, it's important to me as a business owner to pay attention to things like that, but we can't take it in the heart personally every time someone says, no, I don't want to join your program. You might even have a big potential engagement where the client says, we're declining to proceed at this time. It's still going to feel bad, but you don't have to let that get you down. So developing a thicker skin over the course of your work is what you can do. How do we do that? I think it's exposure. I think it's just repetition, just like playing catch. You're going to literally develop a little bit of calluses on your hand that's going to make the ball hurt less. And I feel like we develop a little bit of those calluses, hopefully not on our heart, but definitely in our just light armor. So little rejections don't hurt you anymore. In general, I think it's helpful to have perspective about it. And the number one perspective for me is the difference between mean people and my people. Mean people don't want to listen to your offer. They don't want you to message them in here. When they say no in a rude way. Thank goodness, because I want to know as soon as possible if someone is a mean person. You know why? Because my clients are never mean. They're never rude. They never write back with some catty response. Ever. Seriously. That's not who my clients are. And I bet if you'll pay attention, that's not who your clients are. So the difference between mean people, whose rejection I honestly don't care about, and my people are two different things. That's what I want you to learn to tune into. Is this a potential perfect client who's having this response? Or is it somebody who was like never going to work with you anyway? And good riddance, because you wouldn't have wanted to work with them. So that distinction, I think, is really key in how upset you should get about something. So if someone who isn't my client rejects me, who's a mean person, rejects me, and I get upset, then I have an opportunity. I have an opportunity to study what it was. Why am I upset about that? And so I can learn and grow. Oh, it triggered a memory of some time when somebody else did something. Okay, well, that's baggage, but that's not what this was right here, right? So that's a thing I can work on bringing up and processing. So yay, thank you to the mean person for helping me bring that up and get rid of it. Work it through and learn from it. But I don't need to, fall into devastation every single day when mean people who don't want what I offer say no. And that's what I want you to do. So know your people. Look for a perfect client from that very first interaction. And if your people are not rude people and somebody is rude to you, good. No more conversation with them. You're done with them. Don't even pursue that. Like, delete them from your email list. You're in charge. You get to cultivate a community and a list of your own people, a pipeline of your own people. And you don't want mean people in it. So that is related to the wonderful Don Miguel Ruiz book, The Four Agreements, in which he says, don't take anything personally. I think it's really helpful in your business to try not to take anything personally. Almost always it's about them and not you. And not taking anything personally is really going to help you to make offers, make open-hearted offers, and make many of them. The more offers you make in your business, the faster it will grow. You know why? Because people can't say yes to something if you haven't offered it to them. So make a lot of offers. And that it's putting yourself out there. Every time you make an offer, you take a risk, you open your heart, you ask, and you risk being told no. So if you can prepare yourself for not taking it personally and you hear a no, then a lot of times the truth is it's not about you. It's about them. The offer wasn't a fit for them. It's not a good time for them. This isn't what they're thinking about right now. This is not what they imagine for themselves. So there are many reasons why people say no to things that don't have anything to do with you. Now, as a student of marketing, what I think is important is if we can not take it personally, then I can say, why did they say no? And I can work on an offer that might be a better fit for them. But if I'm in grief, which I sometimes am when people reject my offers, it's not as easy for me to see through that to how I can turn this into something that they want. Okay? So I believe we all know that it's not easy to not take things personally. It's the kind of advice that makes me a little cranky sometimes when I hear it, like, don't take anything personally. I'm like, shut up. However, if you stop taking things personally, then you can observe them in your business and know that it's likely not about you. It's almost never about you, actually. And that gives us the opportunity to learn about them, to be curious about them. Why might they say no to something? The other key piece for you here is to build a pipeline. And a pipeline means you've got an ongoing flow of potential clients. There's more than one person that you're talking to at a time. And once you're done talking to this one, no matter what they say, there'll be another one after them. So having that steady flow of incoming potential clients takes so much pressure off of you. And it can really help you to not place so much consequence on any single rejection. If someone says no and there are 5 more people in your pipeline, that's very different from when my client said no to me and I was like, yeah, I don't have anything else going on, right? So this is the thing for you to do is you're cultivating within yourself inner strength, building that thicker skin, building that resilience, and also you're taking the action in your business to build a pipeline. Right? This is not just all about inner work, but inner work is the key to you saying, hey, in advance of any potential rejection that might come in, you know what'll make me safer is having a lot of people in my pipeline. You can also take other actions like not seeing those unsubscribe notifications from your email service. You can have somebody else filter your emails so that if someone does write you a mean or rude or upsetting thing, they can filter that before you see it. So think about what will make you your best self at work and create the systems so that that is already in place for you and protects you from anything that you don't want to see if it's upsetting. The last thing that I want you to do is really observe yourself in rejection. Observe how you feel because you want to work on what comes up. For example, you might get offended when someone says no. Or you might take any pushback or feedback as rejection. and get offended at it. So getting offended generally means that your ego got involved. And so that it's no longer about the objective thing, like the offer or the thing that's between us. It's about your identity. Getting offended usually means, were they questioning my value or my worth or who I am, my identity? That's what offense means. So that means if you get offended, you have an opportunity to say, what did that just stir up in me? What just happened? All kinds of rejection are stirring things up. Like the thing I said about grief, where it's one little piece of it is attached to all the rest of it. So it gives you a chance to say, when else have I had a rejection like this? When else have I felt this way? When else have I gotten offended? And what is this person stirring up for me? And, maybe they're talking to you like a terrible ex-boyfriend did, or maybe it's, the voice of your mom when she was mad or something. What you want to do is just be curious about that and acknowledge it and bring it up, because the more you learn about yourself in these situations, the less you'll be controlled by those emotions, the less you'll be controlled by other people's behaviors. And that's what I want for you. I want you to be autonomous. I want you to be in your power. And I want you to be free to make offers generously, because that's the way you grow your business. It's the way you grow and expand as a person. And you'll see the expansion of yourself as a person in the expansion of your business. And that is my wish for you. I hope that today, what we've been talking about with rejection, while it can be upsetting and it can stir up other difficult emotions, what I hope it has been is a way for you to bring up these ideas so that you can think about them and work on them on your own. And if you're looking for someone to talk through those or work through those with you, feel free to reach out to me. And I would love to help you grow your business by becoming a stronger and richer and more powerful person. And with that, I'm wishing you a profitable and joyful consulting business.
Thanks for watching. Please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and click the bell to get video updates. Thanks.